The chief elected official in Loudoun County has gone on lavish trips across the globe paid for by taxpayer dollars. All new at 6, Nick Minock is showing you how your tax money is being spent on these trips in a story you'll see only on 7 News.
In June, Loudoun County Chair Phyllis Randall and County Supervisor Sylvia Glass and Karan Sains flew to Ghana to sign a sister city partnership with the mayor of Tema. During their trip, 7 News uncovered the 3 elected officials stayed at a luxury 5-star resort that boasts 2 outdoor pools and being on a white sand beach. And the 3 elected officials racked up sky-high airline costs flying United Polaris business class round trip, which includes luxury bedding, slippers, skincare items, pajamas, lie-flat seats, and other amenities, and taxpayers paid for all of it. According to the county, Randall, Sains, and Glass's airline tickets all cost more than $7,300 each. Meanwhile, the current U.S. Secretary of Transportation often flies economy on commercial flights. 7 News asked Randall if her pricey taxpayer-funded airline travel is necessary.
Pete Buttigieg is not the chief elected official of the federal government. I am the chief elected official of the county.
Taxpayers also paid for Chair Randall's chief of staff, Matt Rogers, to fly United Polaris business as well as another county employee.
When you travel for 10.5 hours and you land in the morning at 9 o'clock, which is what we did, you have to get off the plane ready to start business.
Randall claims her taxpayer-funded trips help attract businesses to Loudoun County. But according to the itinerary that 7 News obtained in an open records request, the elected officials and their staff spent most of their time seeing a school and cultural and historical sites frequented by tourists. Taxpayers also footed the bill for visas, vaccinations, and gifts to the people of Ghana, including lavender-infused candles, coins, crystal paperweights, custom flag lapel pins, and more. Taxpayers paid for Supervisor Sains' $200 bag overage fee on his way home. And taxpayers paid for a $2,200 ambassador reception for 30 people and a $336 dinner that a small group of people attended, including Randall's husband, according to documents 7 News obtained from the county.
My husband did not have a single penny of taxpayer money used on this trip. Not a single red cent.
I understand you upgraded your hotel room when you were in Ghana. Was it because he was with you?
No, it wasn't because he was with me. I often will have that hotel, the hotel room that I get. No.
Randall's hotel room cost more than twice as much after her upgrade. A day after our interview, Randall said she reflected on 7 News' question about the hotel room upgrade, and Randall told 7 News, quote, "The upgrade of the room was a luxury the county shouldn't have paid for, so I'm going to write a check to the county for the difference," unquote. This taxpayer-funded trip to Ghana cost more than $60,000. In Leesburg, Nick Minock, 7 News. Loudoun County Chair Phyllis Randall and County Supervisors Karan Sains and Sylvia Glass visited Ghana to start a sister city relationship. It was a taxpayer-funded trip, and 7 News exposed how the trip cost more than $60,000. The 3 elected officials stayed at a luxury 5-star resort and flew United Polaris business class, each airline ticket costing more than $7,300 for the elected officials. And the elected officials brought a man on the trip whose wife donated to Randall's and Sains' political campaigns. Taxpayers footed the bill for the man's flights, hotel, food, and other expenses in Ghana. Loudoun County Supervisor Kristen Umstead has concerns.
I think it looks bad from the public's viewpoint. It looks like the county is playing favorites. Now, on the other side, I've talked to economic development staff, and their position is if the county was going to have a relationship with Ghana, he was the one individual in the county who could help facilitate that. But you always have to be very careful not to commingle campaign donations with government efforts. So I don't think it looks great, to be honest.
Umstead is also concerned about ongoing human rights issues in Ghana.
I'm concerned about 2 issues with Ghana, and I wish I had known about them earlier and had familiarized myself about them earlier. Ghana has issues with LGBTQ rights, significant issues, and has for quite some time. It also has issues with child labor.
Draft legislation in Ghana would make identifying as gay or being an ally of the LGBTQ community a second-degree felony.
Why did you choose Ghana with their track record on LGBTQ rights?
I am so glad you asked that question. It's such a valid question, and it has quite a long answer. When we first looked in Africa, one of the things we considered was human rights overall. And you said the right words. You said draft legislation. That legislation hasn't been put through because as we were planning this sister city trip, we reached out to the officials in Ghana and said, we can't do that with their LGBTQ policy, and that legislation never went through.
However, the legislation is still being considered by the government, and same-sex conduct is already a crime in Ghana. Randall says these trips are in an effort to attract more international business to Loudoun County.
I want to kind of investigate chocolate processing. Ghana has some of the best cocoa beans in the world.
But the U.S. Department of Labor reports more than 1.56 million children on the Ivory Coast and Ghana are engaged in child labor on cocoa farms, and that children in Ghana are subjected to the worst forms of child labor, including in fishing and cocoa production and harvesting.
Is that a partnership you want?
One of the companies we worked with, we talked to, was a very small woman-owned company, and some of the things I asked her when we talked about where she harvests her chocolate from were those very issues. Again, we didn't take this trip lightly. We did a lot of research.
Nick Minock, 7 News.
7 News on your side is asking what Loudoun County residents are getting in return after we uncovered several Board of Supervisors are taking taxpayer-funded trips. Last night we told you about a trip to Ghana. Now all new at 6, Nick Minock found taxpayers also paid for a trip to Uruguay in a story you'll see only on 7 News.
Loudoun County Chair Phyllis Randall has traveled at taxpayer expense to Ghana, Uruguay, Germany, India, China, and she's traveled to South Korea twice. And County Supervisor Sylvia Glass and Karan Sains joined Randall on a $60,000 luxury trip to Ghana, and County Supervisor Julie Briskman joined Randall on a more than $33,000 trip to Uruguay. And taxpayers paid for all of these trips. 7 News obtained the itinerary for Randall's trip to Uruguay. This is the 5-star resort Randall, her chief of staff, 2 other county employees, and Supervisor Briskman stayed in during their taxpayer-funded trip to Uruguay. The hotel has a spa and a casino, and the hotel overlooks the beach. Taxpayers also paid for their food and airline tickets on Copa Airlines, which included seats in business class. The taxpayer footed the bill for Briskman's $100 oversized bag fee on the way home. When they arrived in Uruguay, Randall signed a sister city agreement.
Couldn't these sister city signings be done virtually instead of requiring travel?
The signings?
Yeah.
I don't know that I can sign something virtually, but the meetings, I think it's important to have meetings in person.
According to the itinerary 7 News obtained, Randall, her chief of staff, and Briskman had a day to explore the area around the hotel, while county employees took business meetings in Uruguay. 7 News asked Randall what she did during that time.
There was not a day that we were not doing something. We never had a day where we just explored the 5-star hotel in Uruguay. That did not happen.
The area around the hotel?
We did not.
I know there's a beach nearby.
We did not. We worked every day.
And Randall and Briskman were driven in a van to their meetings at wineries. The van cost taxpayers more than $3,200. Randall and Briskman also visited a medical cannabis lab, and they visited an equestrian center for cocktails. Taxpayers also paid for a nearly $1,800 ambassador reception for 70 people that Randall and Briskman attended. This is all according to documents the county sent to 7 News and an open records request.
Are you sure you're the most efficient on these trips when it comes to expenses?
I would be happy to go back and look at that. I think that's a fair question. This is taxpayer money. I take taxpayer money very, very seriously.
What are residents of Loudoun County getting from these trips? What kind of businesses have located to Loudoun County as a direct result of these trips? 2,500
new jobs, $1.37 billion in investment, over 100 new businesses. and 27 businesses, international businesses, in just the past 2 years. That's a very big return. I am quite confident that the Loudoun taxpayer gets an enormous return on investment.
But it's unclear if those businesses located to Loudoun County as a direct result of those trips or if it's due to something else. In Leesburg, Nick Minock, 7 News. And a common question the board is getting is,
what are you all going to do to fix this?
Umstead is proposing amendments to the international travel rules for the Board of Supervisors.
The first premise is that we should be discouraged from going overseas on international trips unless it is critically important to the economic development interests of Loudoun County. The second is that we should make sure our trips are as efficient time-wise as possible, so limited to 1 to 2 days rather than a week or more, and that we should not visit tourist spots at taxpayer expense.
Umstead's amendments would require board members to always fly economy. Hotel stays would only be at modestly priced hotels. There would be a prohibition on board members earning miles on taxpayer-funded flights and rewards points at hotels. There would be a restriction on how many people can go on taxpayer-funded trips. There would be more board oversight on the itineraries and costs before trips happen. There would be a requirement for board members to pay for personal expenses and more.
Personal expense would be any upgrade from economy travel on the flight, any upgrade in a room. Other upgrades or costs that really are personal in nature would be an oversized baggage fee.
For more than a week, 7 News has been asking Loudoun County supervisors, do you support updating the county travel policy to reduce travel costs? County supervisors Kristen Umstead, Tony Buffington, and Matt Letourneau told 7 News they do support an update to the county travel policy. Sylvia Glass said she supports a review of the policy. But Julie Briskman, Mike Turner, Karan Sains, and Caleb Kirshner still have not responded to 7 News' question. This year, taxpayers paid around $100,000 for Loudoun County Chair Phyllis Randall's 3 county supervisors and county staff sister city trips to Ghana and Uruguay. 7 News continues to go through all the receipts related to the trips, and we're learning tax dollars were used to buy a $681 camera. 7 News FOIA'd all the pictures and the data on the camera. And tonight we're getting new insight into how the elected officials and county staff spent their time on their tax dollar-funded trip to Uruguay. A few of the photos show Randall signing a sister city partnership in Uruguay, but most of the photos on the camera were of sunsets, sunrises, and the 5-star hotel the officials stayed at, which includes a casino. This photo shows Loudoun County Supervisor Julie Briskman smiling as she takes a swim in the water on March 3rd. Moments after this photo was taken, Randall's chief of staff appears on a Uruguay beach, looking into the sunset. His trip was funded by tax dollars, too. Weeks before 7 News obtained these photos, we asked Randall what she, her chief of staff, and Briskman did during the free time they had on their taxpayer-funded trip, according to the itinerary.
There was never a single day in Uruguay or Ghana, no matter what the itinerary said, that I wasn't working. Not one day. We never had an explore the hotel day. There was not a day that we were not doing something. We never had a day where we just explored the 5-star hotel in Uruguay. That did not happen.
The area around the hotel?
We did not.
I know there's a beach nearby.
We did not. We worked every day. When we are over there, we are incredibly busy. Many meetings in a short amount of time.
But the photos seem to paint a different picture. Aside from the beach photos, plenty of photos were captured of the officials enjoying a seafood lunch, the Uruguayan architecture, and the cellars and the vineyards at the wineries the elected officials visited. And these are photos captured at the Equestrian Center, where Chair Randall and Supervisor Briskman were taken for sunset cocktails. And here's the spread. At the same time, back in Loudoun County, the Board of Supervisors almost didn't have enough supervisors at a county government meeting to have a quorum while Randall and Briskman visited the Uruguay Equestrian Center. Randall still insists, without providing specific evidence, that her taxpayer-funded trips have a high return on investment.
A lot of the Uruguay trip was a lot of Western Loudoun agriculture, especially in the wine exchange between Uruguay and Loudoun County. There's a wine called the Tanat wine, and they're going to do a wine mixture. So all those things matter. So 2,500 new jobs, $1.37 billion in investment, over 100 new businesses, and 27 businesses, international businesses, in just the past 2 years. That's a very big return.
Nick Minock, 7 News. To see how Loudoun County elected officials spent their time during their lavish, taxpayer-funded trip to Ghana, 7 News submitted a public records request asking for all the photos and videos taken on the supervisor's cell phones and iPads. Karan Sains responded there was no responsive records to this request. But this video shows Karan Sains in the middle of the room in a gray jacket, turning around and appearing to record a video or take photos on his phone as the crowd sings happy birthday to Supervisor Sylvia Glass's chief of staff during the taxpayer-funded trip to Ghana. After seeing this video, 7 News emailed Sains saying it appears you took a video with your phone in Ghana during a happy birthday song. Did you delete your photos and videos from Ghana because of WJLA's FOIA request? What happened to your photos and videos and why weren't they provided? Sains responded, saying your email said county devices. I did not use my county devices during the event in question. 7 News responded, that's not true. This FOIA request includes photos and videos on your personal devices. It appears Sains took a lot of photos and videos during his taxpayer-funded trip. Sains is seen taking a picture here, and here, and here. But Sains didn't provide any photos or videos to 7 News' FOIA request. But this wasn't the first time Loudoun County Ghana photos weren't provided to 7 News in a FOIA request. After 7 News learned the county bought a Canon digital camera and used it on the Ghana trip, 7 News requested the photos on that camera. The county provided only 17 photos. But when 7 News told the county appeared photos were not provided, the county admitted photos were deleted. And the county said it was able to recover some photos from the trip after 7 News' inquiry. As the 7 News investigation found, Loudoun County Chair Phyllis Randall and Supervisors Glass and Sains spent more than $7,300 each flying United Polaris business class. They stayed at a luxury 5-star resort overlooking the beach, and they visited numerous tourist destinations. The lavish taxpayer trip costing more than $60,000. But despite appearing to enjoy the sights and sounds in Ghana, Chair Randall insists this was a county work trip, and she said without providing proof that her sister city trips bring jobs to Loudoun County.
These are not junkets. These are working trips that produce a lot of revenue.
County Supervisor Mike Turner repeated Randall's claims, writing in a letter to the editor, quote, the Loudoun County Sister City program has been an outstanding program for years and has generated $1.37 billion in increased commercial tax revenue, more than 2,500 jobs, unquote. County Supervisor Julie Briskman has also reiterated these claims. And for more than a month, 7 News has been asking for proof. After Randall didn't provide proof of her claims, 7 News submitted a Freedom of Information request. Now, 7 News has the list of companies that make up Randall's, Turner's, and Briskman's claims. According to the list, it appears none of the companies that make up their $1.37 billion of commercial investment claim are from Loudoun County sister cities. None. When you look at the county's list, a company from the Netherlands makes up more than $1 billion of Randall's, Turner's, and Briskman's $1.37 billion commercial investment claim. Loudoun County does not have a sister city in the Netherlands. And Loudoun County doesn't have sister cities in France, South Africa, Ireland, Switzerland, the UK, New Zealand, Spain, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Italy, Denmark, Belgium, Japan, and Australia. A day after 7 News exposed how the investments and jobs didn't come from Loudoun County sister cities, the Loudoun Times-Mirror reports that Turner acknowledged that his letter to the editor incorrectly attributed the $1.37 billion total to the sister city program. Turner telling the Times-Mirror, quote, those success metrics actually applied to our entire international economic development program since 2015, unquote. 7 News has requested an interview with Turner. He has not responded. And 7 News wrote an email to Randall and Briskman asking, since Supervisor Turner acknowledged he was wrong to attribute $1.37 billion and 2,500 jobs to sister cities, do you also acknowledge that you were wrong to attribute this total to sister city trips? Chair Phyllis Randall and Supervisor Julie Briskman still have not answered 7 News' question. Nick Minock, 7 News.